Okay, so today we're going deep on something super important, and that's cybersecurity in elections.
Elections
Yeah,
and cybersecurity.
exactly right. Yeah, we've got some really fascinating excerpts from a podcast that we listen to. It's called Cybersecurity in Elections, Text Roll. And we really wanted to take a look at this and
Oh,
see,
kind of a deep dive
yeah,
into.
a deep dive and see what's being done, globally to safeguard elections and
Yeah, the challenge.
yeah, what are some of the challenges that are faced along the way?
Yeah, it's really interesting because it is the sort of intersection between technology and democracy itself.
Hmm.
Elections are the bedrock of any democratic system,
Right.
and they're only growing more and more reliant on digital infrastructure.
Right.
But that does come with some vulnerabilities.
Well, that's what's so interesting, right? Because it's like this tightrope that we walk
Mm-hmm.
because we need these systems to register voters, to cast ballots, to run campaigns even. And then you have a situation like what happened to the 2016 US elections.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that was a big deal. There was Russian interference, there was leaks, there were targeted disinformation campaigns, and that really shook people's trust
It really did.
in the process.
Yeah, and you see this impact kind of reaching outward.
Hmm.
So then you look at the 2017 French elections. There was a data breach targeting Macron's campaign
Oh, wow.
right before the voting took place, and even as recently as 2023. Nigeria's election commission faced, I think it was over 12 million cyber attacks,
Oh my
which
God.
were aimed at disrupting the uploads of the election results.
So this is obviously a huge deal.
It is a huge deal.
And not just some kind of abstract like, oh, well,
Right.
maybe somebody's computer will get hacked or something,
Is
It's
it?
it's like the very foundation of how we choose our leaders.
Yeah, it's about protecting the core of democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are some of the biggest, I guess, vulnerabilities
Vulnerabilities, yeah.
that we're dealing with when it comes to cybersecurity and elections?
Mm.
I mean, what are the things that we should really be concerned about?
Well, I mean, the threats are pretty multifaceted.
Okay.
We're talking about things like, hackers being able to potentially alter results,
Right.
leak sensitive voter information, or
Right.
even crash entire systems just to disrupt the process entirely.
Disrupt the election.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that's the obvious stuff. But what about, I mean, you mentioned earlier about like design.
Yes.
Is there a way that a system can actually be vulnerable just because of the way it's designed?
Absolutely. I mean, even if the intention is good, right?
Yeah.
If you have things like confusing user interfaces, poorly designed admin dashboards
Hmm.
that maybe lack proper alerts, these can inadvertently lead to security breaches.
So like just like oversights can just open these doors.
Yeah.
I see.
And then, even beyond that, there's the human element. Public perception
Right.
is so important because even if you have secure technology in place,
Right.
if voters lose trust in the system,
Yeah.
it can lead to lower voter turnout.
So it's like a fear thing, right? Like,
Yep.
oh, I don't even trust this, so why should I even bother?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So what are we doing about it?
Yeah.
What tech is being developed to kind of combat all this stuff?
Well, there's a lot of great work going on. Encryption, for one, is crucial.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
You got to make sure that the sensitive data is locked down as tight as possible.
Right.
And then we're seeing AI-powered systems playing a bigger and bigger role.
Okay. So I can see how AI would be useful for like detecting suspicious activity.
Yeah.
But what does that actually look like in the context of an election?
Well, I mean, you can have AI that's analyzing voting patterns
Sure.
in real time, looking for unusual spikes or anomalies
Interesting.
that could point to manipulation.
Right.
It can also monitor social media
Wow.
for disinformation campaigns,
Huh.
identifying bot activity,
Right.
and flagging potentially harmful content.
Wow. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you can't talk about cybersecurity without talking about blockchain.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be excited about blockchain technology.
I mean, it has enormous potential. It's essentially a decentralized and tamper-proof record-keeping system.
Right?
So, for example, Estonia has been using blockchain for vote verification since 2005,
Oh, wow.
and they've seen great success with it.
And so how do they use it?
Well, they use it to create a record of each vote
Okay.
that can then be verified by the voter
Okay.
without compromising their anonymity.
Interesting. So it's like an extra layer of transparency that.
Yeah, it builds trust,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
it really has been successful for them.
Well, that's great. But, I have heard that even blockchain isn't a perfect solution.
Yeah.
What are some of the downsides of that?
Sure, you're absolutely right. Scalability and speed are still significant hurdles.
Okay.
Uh, Being able to process large volumes of data quickly and efficiently
Yeah,
is a challenge.
that makes sense. So it's interesting, though, to think about, we were talking about those cyber attacks that Nigeria faced.
Yeah.
And they're looking at blockchain now to try to address some of those issues.
They are, yeah.
But something that really stood out to me from the podcast we listened to was this emphasis on user experience.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just have a secure system.
Right.
It's got to be easy to use, too.
Yeah, if it's clunky or confusing, people aren't going to be confident using it.
Right.
And good UX can actually enhance the security as well.
Yeah.
You could have something as simple as a notification that says your vote is encrypted.
Right.
Or, intuitive voting tools that are easy for everybody to understand.
That makes sense.
Little things like that can really bolster people's confidence.
It's all about trust, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we can have all this amazing technology,
Yeah.
but if people don't trust it,
Exactly.
what's the point?
And also another thing that we have to consider is this concept of hybrid systems.
Yeah.
Which the source material also goes into.
Yeah.
The Netherlands, for example, uses a combination of digital voting with paper backups
Oh, interesting.
to increase the integrity of the system.
That's pretty smart.
Yeah, it provides an additional layer of security.
Right.
It allows for audits to take place, which can then further bolster public trust.
Well, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So it sounds like what we really need is this combination of robust technology,
Yeah.
well thought out design,
Yeah.
and just making sure that people understand what's going on and that they feel confident in the system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think that leads to another question then, which is,
Yeah.
With technology always evolving,
Right.
what new challenges and opportunities might we face in securing future elections? I mean, what's coming next?
That's the big question, right?
Yeah.
As technology advances, we have to stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
We have to keep adapting our security measures to match.
So just to recap, I think the thing we've really learned here is that elections are increasingly under threat from these cyber attacks.
Yeah.
And this isn't just some tech problem. It really affects democracies all over the world.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not all doom and gloom, right?
No.
We've got these powerful tools to fight back. We've got
Right.
encryption. We've got AI. We've got blockchain.
Right.
We've got hybrid systems.
A lot of promising avenues.
Yeah, but it's going to take a lot of work, a multifaceted approach.
Right.
Combining these cutting-edge technologies with intuitive design.
Yes.
And just making sure that people know what's going on.
Public awareness is so important.
Yeah, it's up to all of us.
It is, yeah.
Well, I think the future of our democracies really could depend on this.
I agree.
So to our listeners out there, stay informed, stay engaged.
Yeah.
Protecting the integrity of our elections is really a shared responsibility.
It is.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And we'll see you next time.
See you later. Bye.